Okay, ladies, here we are back with the last and final video of this album swap. This is the second time through this video because I went to make sure the other one that I had done was good, and partway through the video, the sound was completely gone. So I'm redoing this third video. The other two thankfully turned out okay, except one part in the second video, right near the end, the sound quality went all weird, and I had like this really slow, deep voice. But then it picked right back up after about, 10-20 seconds. So that's the only bobble in that video. But so this is my second time through with this last video. So let me show you the box. I'm going to show you kind of parts of it because I want the top of the box, the whole thing, to be the last thing you see, because there's my little surprise on it. That has to do with clocks that I wanted to portray in this album because that was part of me. So this is the side of the box. Now, this box, lady, is not a pre-bought box. It is a constructed box. I did it all by hand. I cut each of the panels separately, all these bottom panels, side panels, top panels, all separately, and then bound them together with duct tape. And this box, the length of this box is about 9 inches. The width of the box is 6 inches, and then the height of the box is about 4¼ inches. So, like I said, I constructed, just used chipboard, constructed, it's like a really kind of a medium weight chipboard, constructed each panel. I, of course, with my album, measured how tall it was, how wide, how thick, to get the measurements of my box. And so that was the measurements I came up with. And my box also, I didn't want just a plain lid that lifted off. I wanted like kind of a gatefold lid, and I'm going to kind of show you. You can kind of see it here. See how this top is on top of this one. So I wanted a gatefold like this. And it's constructed, normally I would probably have the opening on this side, but because of what I did on the top, the way the album is thick on the left and slopes down to the right, I had to make my opening on the left side so that I would have room for what I had on the top. And it would fit in the space of where the album sloped down. So you'll be able to understand more what I'm talking about when I get to that point. But now I bound, like ladies, like I said, all the seams inside and out. I would lay the box down, bind the seams with duct tape. And I had gotten this kind of tan colored duct tape. And it matched the chipboard fine, but not really the paper. It was a little bit too taupey tan color. So what I did is I colored all the seams with Tim Holtz. It's this copper color alcohol ink. And so you can kind of see that here. You can kind of see that alcohol ink. And let me turn over on the bottom. See how the seam of the alcohol ink? But, that alcohol ink going on slick duct tape, it would just scratch right off. And so I was trying to figure out a way that I could kind of seal it, and it took me a while, but I finally came up with it, and probably one of you ladies would have came up with it like, just as quick as a, snap of a button or something. Did that make sense? Well, you know what I'm saying. So what I did is I sealed all my edges inside and out with the duct tape. Then I put the alcohol ink on all the seams, just not over the whole duct tape, just kind of about 1 inch on all sides of the seams of the duct tape. And I let it dry for about a good 24 hours. And then I took Mod Podge, about 3 coats, letting it dry between each coat. And I Mod Podge over all the seams. And it seemed to seal in this alcohol ink. And so now it doesn't scratch off. It seemed to seal it in really well, so now this alcohol ink won't just scratch off of that slick duct tape. So I was kind of happy with the way that came out. So there's an idea for you, ladies. If you're trying to cover duct tape, alcohol ink, let it dry completely, and then seal it over with, 3 or so coats of Mod Podge. So the box, back to the box. So after I got it all together, and each panel is separately done with the paper. As you can see, each panel, I didn't like have one long strip and going around. I did each panel separately, inside and out, with the sheets of paper. And then I assembled, and then that's how I did it all. So the front of the box, this is the front, has a little bit of lace because, of course, I want it to match the album, going around to the sides. And then the back also has a little bit of lace in the corner. The top hinges. There's one hinge on this side, and I originally had one hinge on the other side, but it was okay. But it was just still a little bit too kind of wobbly for me, and I didn't want to just take the one hinge out because then I'd have to figure out a way to, like, creatively cover the holes and all that stuff. So I just added two more hinges. So, and actually I don't think it looks too bad. So I've got three hinges on one side and one hinge on the other, but I think it looks okay. So let's go on to the top of the box. Now I'm going to cover one element so that you can't really see it because I want you to see it last. So, but I can still show you. Here we go. So here's the left side of the box. This is the left lid. Now I originally had this closing with a magnet, but I took the magnet off because I was afraid it would interfere with what I had put on the box. So even though it was far enough away, I still didn't want to take that chance, and you'll see that in a minute. But what I did is I used a cabinet handle. I've been collecting all these old vintage cabinet handles, and it was originally gold, but let me see if I can get it up here. I used a little bit of the copper alcohol ink on it just to kind of bring that copper tone into it. So it's kind of a gold, there you can kind of see a little bit of the shadowing, gold copper mix. And then I did kind of the same thing as in the album, a little decorative spray down the side. Down here you can kind of see I did my little peekaboo lace. Okay, and then I added a couple of the skeleton leaves and the spray. This is that spray, ladies, I was talking about that I cut up the gems and I used on that little butterfly I made, that little flower butterfly. This is the spray I had cut up and used two of the gems for in the top and the bottom of the butterfly on the card. And then here's a little butterfly here and some of my little curly cues, some flowers, recollection flowers. And then I Am Rose's big flower, and then my little, little rosebuds with the little rosebud bouquet, and then another little flower or a little butterfly. Okay, and then onto this side. See, I'm trying to keep my element covered. I want you to be surprised. So this side, again, I did a little lace in the corner. Okay, and in this flower, I handmade this flower. This is like organza fabric or really sheer fabric. And all I did, ladies, was hot glue it and twist it into a circle. But I like how it kind of came out. It's really tall, but I think it just makes it such a little romantic looking rose. And then back behind it, so it wouldn't just kind of fall into the lace, there's this little bit of brown tulle there. You're not going to really be able to see it, but maybe on my finger a little bit there. A little bit of brown tulle so it's not, cream on cream lace. A little bit of my leaf trim. A little bit of some, I Am Rose's flowers again. And then I made another little stick pin. I love hanging, and hanging from the stick pin is this little gem. I love hanging these little stick pin or these little gems from the stick pins. And then my hinges, ladies, you could see them here. My hinges, to cover all the prongs on the outside, I just backed with gems, which actually I think it kind of lends to the romantic feel of the whole thing. So I covered the prongs of my brads because I put brads through my hinges. It's kind of late, so brads through my hinges, and then to cover the prongs of the brads, I added little gems. So I'm telling you that because on top, you're going to be able to see some of my little gems up here too on my hinges. Okay, now ladies, let me get this little piece of white off I've been hiding. Here is the rest of my box, or my box as a whole. Like I said, I wanted to put part of me in there, and I love clocks. So what I did is I added a real working clock onto the top of the box. I love this paper, this love paper, just that big touch of red. All this last summer as I was garage selling, anytime someone was selling a cheap old little clock for like 50 cents or $1, I'd buy the clock so that I could have the clock parts out of it. This clock face behind it is just a Heidi Swap acrylic clocks, package of clocks. And then I put a real working clock on here. And yes, it's 1:45 in the morning where I'm at. So this is kind of late, about ready to go to bed. I've got to get up and go to work tomorrow. But I wanted to get this done for you. So there's my real working clock on the Keepsake box. And that's why I didn't put a magnet on here, because I was really afraid that even though the magnet would have been kind of about over here, it was far enough away. It didn't seem to, when I set the magnet next to it, didn't seem to pull from over here until I got right up to it, but I didn't want to take that chance. So what I did is just took the magnet off and I did Velcro. This Velcro circles was originally black, but ladies, I just took the alcohol ink and colored it copper. So that works, right? Now, on the inside, I'm sad to say I was going to do this great little enclosure to cover the back of the clock. I was going to do this little hinged kind of hidden panel, and Maggie would just be able to pull up from this little ribbon to open the little panel and be able to access the back of the clock to put batteries in. But I wanted to get this done, and it was getting late, and so I just left it. But you're not going to see it unless you completely open the box. So on the inside, you do see the back of the clock. But please let it be known, I was going to make this total hinged out of chipboard enclosure that covered it, with just a little ribbon pull that she could, and maybe on Velcro that she can pull the ribbon. It would open it up, the hinged part, and then she could change the battery, but I didn't. So anyway, I left it open, but like I said, you're not going to really see it unless the box is completely open. So there it is, ladies. There's my box, my working clock on top. And then Maggie's album will fit just right inside here. Get it all tucked in. And let me move my lamp a little bit. There we go. Closed it up just like that. And then there is her keepsake box with her album tucked away inside. And then, of course, her little heart card that I made. So, ladies, I'm going to listen to this video and see if it all turned out and make sure the sound quality's on it good. But thanks for spending your time with me, and thanks for watching 3 videos just for an album swap. But there were so many little things. I just wanted you to see it all. But like I said, thanks for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.